Well, tool cart's out. Car's up in the air. Drip basin, drip catching. Can only mean one thing. Trouble's afoot. Well, as you can tell by the ominous introduction, we are working on yet another project here on the ranch. We have power steering control valve going in the Impala. Right here, these wheels are going to be turned by means of hydraulic fluid going through tubes and hoses to the appropriate places as to make the steering light and delicate from inside the car. But we first have to size up the task at hand, which includes the new part. Ba-ding! Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba! New part! Old part. Ew. Gross. So this guy's coming out of here little bit by little bit. We also have a leak in this hydraulic 3/8 hose, which we don't have one of those in-house, but we're going to use an air barb cutter right about there. And I took the 3/8 hose that I had capable of withstanding a 100 psi and affixing it to that fitting. What could go wrong? It's got a clamp on it. Focus, focus. It's got a clamp on it. It can't fail. Look at that bulge, and it's already proving how strong this hose is. Well, through great exceeding difficulty, all these hoses are discoed, like I had pointed out this guy. But where it affixes to the pitman arm, right about there, has got to get pickle forked. So I got a pickle fork here. And it's got to fit said pickle fork without marring up the rod on that piston right in there without breaking these hoses because I don't have replacements. So let's get that in there. Well, we got it this far, pickle forked open. Now the whole apparatus has got to rotate on this drag link, thus freeing it from its captive position. I know it's so blurry. There we go. This whole apparatus, camera holder.
Hey, it works then.
Oh! It works out. So now, what we're going to hope to do is continue this round and round momentum. It's a hard thing to really negotiate, this guy is. So what I'm going to do here is I've got to find the largest wrench. I have a 24 somewhere. I have a 24. But maybe the largest one I have available to me is a 15. God blessed. Another 15. 15's all around. If I can get a hold of the head, something on there that'll remotely be a holdable. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, there you go. You like turning? Do you like pickles? Do you like pickles? Ow! I'm so scared. I'm so... All right. There we go. Ah! Oh, no. Ah! Bop, bop. There we go. I hope this new one isn't that hard to put on. That's what I'm wondering. But as the world keeps turning, so does this. just don't want to break these little hoses, because those are
Let's see if I can
scarcely replaceable.
get in here and hold these for you.
There we go. This guy. It's out! Ha ha! Bum, ba, 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 ba. It's out. All right. Get the hammer fist! Well, it dawns on me right here that this is kind of in the way. So I can either take this whole piston out of the equation and just move it to the side, or pull these hoses out. Both sensible ideas. But how much would it be? How bad would it be to take this whole arm out of the question? Because this has got a lot of threads to go. So if I pull that out using my wonderful needle nose pliers, I can squeeze the breeze and get it out of there. There we go. There we go. Come on out. Come on out and smell the roses. Well, maybe you don't have to. We're not telling you have to smell the roses. I'm not forcing you to. It slowly comes out. And there it is. Ooh. Oh, that wasn't nice. That's not nice. Stop it. You're embarrassing me.
And she guys are.
You're embarrassing me in front of... There. There. All's well. Oil's well that ends well. I guess you could say I'm a bona fide gentleman. All right. There. There we go. I could have been counting these turns as I took it out, but that would have been too much prior planning. I'll just wonder why it's not tracking straight down the road after. I'll say, what the hell? This is a piece of junk. It doesn't drive straight. It's like, well, if you had counted the threads and done it the right way, maybe you wouldn't be in this predicament. Oil's well that ends well. I honestly think that was in an episode of The Crypt Keeper. Little Tales from the Crypt. So, gotta make sure that it's angled in a way that is not going to interfere with the movement of the pitchman arm. There, go like that. There we go. That feels like it's in that groove swimmingly, and it's at the right angle for the pitman arm to take over. So now we got to manipulate these wheels. These wheels keep on turning, turning. Ah! There we go. Push that back. And under the pitman arm we go. Hopefully, oh yeah, that fits. Ish, kind of.
Move you guys again so that way hopefully I can get a little bit better view for you.
Now we got to put this castle nut up here. And yes, it's threading on. So we are now in the process of getting this tightened. Now we got to find the hole in there for the cotta pin to go through. My dad used to call it a cotta pin. Very thick Finnish accent. He'd say cotta pin. And if I put the cotta pin in here, there's a lot of stuff in this tray. there's one caught up in, there's the other one. Aha! Saw it out of the corner of my ojos. That's Spanish. Duh, no kidding. There we go. Spread them. And it did. So now that is on there. It looks like the wheels are orientated in the right way. And that's tight. Zerk is yet to be greased. Piston yet to be raised. So let's take this castle nut off the end of here. Look at these dried out bushings. They are so dry. Oh, come on, that's not nice. Come on. Oh, come on. You have to. There we go. There we go.
She was a squirter.
Sure is. The wrong times. It's like at the dinner table. Really?
Mom? You won't believe it.
You won't believe it. There we have it. That is reconnected. That's reconnected. Those are about to be reconnected. And as previously discussed, the outside hose is on the top. You don't want to screw up the angle on the order of these hoses, because then you will get a violent jerk in your steering when you're going down the road, and it'll be very unpleasant. It'll lead you to a bad place you don't want to be. And this guy right here goes down there. I'm going to very cautiously. Bah! That's enough. That's all I wanted out of it. There we go. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Cozying up in there, boy, aren't you? Now I just gotta get what size. Nope. Aha. Nope. 7/16. 7/16. I could put my ratcheting one on there and then do it and then wonder why I can't get it off after.
Whoops.
Do the garsh. Garsh. There we go. Atta pepper. Atta pepper. I'm not gonna start that again. Atta pepper. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Atta pepper. Atta. Okay. It's just such a funny thing to say. You know, like, who came up with that expression? I just, you know, it's like, yep, it's like attaboy, but instead of having a son to say attaboy to, you just have a bell pepper with a face drawn on it, so you're like, atta pepper. It was a lonely, lonely man that came up with that saying. Very odd duck. Well, I think we just cracked the case on that one. This one is proving itself to be quite the little doozy. Want to tell your ninja friends. Yeah, it's still pretty loosey-goosey on there. I gotta get the right angle and the right grip on it. I don't know. There we go. That was a pretty good one. I felt it. I could feel it in my bones. Atta papa. Atta pepper. Atta pepper. See, there was the wrench drop. See, we got those on there, but we're not out of the woods yet because we got this guy to contend with now. So, what we're going to do, in a way, because it's still good right here, I'm going to make this to a minimum so that when this blows up in my face and doesn't work, there's only a little bit of hose to replace, not a lot of bit of hose to replace. So I'm going to do it right next to that other hillbilly job that was done by the previous owner. Much for the same reason, I believe. So, cow clamps. Let's see if this will actually cut this hose. Get me a tea and spoon. God bless it. There we go. Get in there really tight. Ow! Oh, you fight back, don't you? Gabba! Ooh, Gabbo. I might, you know what? I'm sitting here like a damn fool. There we go. That's the way we do it when we don't want to mess around with it. There we go. So here's our crude replacement 100 PSI hose. I don't know how much PSI is in a power steering system. How much could it be really? It's only a hydraulic piston. So I'm going to cut this where that once was. Right about there. Final answer, Tom? Feeling good about that? There we go. Maybe this will do with the cow clamps. Yeah.
Like butter.
Like butter. Now I'm doing this with a piece of airline fitting. That's meant for PSIs. I'm putting that end in there, and then we have a whole selection of hose clamps to deal with. Here, there, anywhere. Let's see. What we don't have here can come out of there. And I'm going to take this guy, open it up just a little bit. Might want to tell your little ninja friends. This could be a bigger screwdriver. Or it could be, why are we doing things in the caveman way when we could just use power tools and spin the thing around? Impact wrench it on there. Oh, it broke the clamp.
Whoopsie.
Well, did it break it advantageously? It might have. It ain't moving. We'll find out. There it is. That's a little bit little. So we're going to use this guy and really hurt it. Do you want it to hurt me?
At least get it on camera.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry, folks. Hold on.
You know, maybe I should have done the barb end on that one. I was wondering which end to give the barb to, and it should have been that one. So you know what? It might not be too late. That might tell you it's too late. Yep. I got an idea though. Alright. This end should have been the barb end. Hey. Hey. You're being very flaily. Yeah, this should have been the bar bend. How many more times are you gonna say? Yeah. Should have been the bar bend. All right. There we go. Oh yeah, she's full. She's full. Oh, she's full. She's full. Now we have to do a little operation called bleeding the power steering. All right, we got the thing almost down on the ground, so we got to bleed the power steering. And basically, that's just a fancy word for moving the wheel side to side, side to side, side to side, until the fluid circulates throughout that system, because it's got a lot of air in it. Close enough. Oh, it would help if I took the cap off the reservoir. There we go. Now, stick that funnel right in there, and we're going to put a splash of fluid in here. Oh yeah, it's leaking out way too much.
Just perfect.
And we're going to move this steering wheel till we build up pressure. So all the way to one side, all the way to the other side. And it's still pretty loose until we start puffing the air out of there. You can hear it splashing and splishing in there. So we should be getting that after several times of doing this. Still sounds like a wet splash, so that must mean there's enough fluid in it still. And I'm going to do my best to clean that up because it is nice and clean for the most part. Except for all the transmission fluid that leaked out from the last. So, we've gone back and forth a few times. Now we need to take the non-head headlight and take a look in here. Take a look at it now. It's still full. My goodness. It's still full. Well, not by a lot though. I'm going to put a little splash in there so that it gets to the point where it's not nice anymore. There we go, just a little bit. I want to be sparing on how much of this stuff ends up on the floor when that hose pops. In the cart. Pull that out. Oh yeah. Boop. Put that right in here. It's the Leaning Tower of Chisa. Huh. Alrighty. So cap that up. And I'm going to do this a few more times. Ooh, it's getting pressure in it all right. I feel it. Not like by a huge amount, but it is getting pressure in there. Because if you do this with the wheels on the ground, what happens is that all those ports that the fluid's got to go through, it's going to froth and foam, and you're never going to get the air out of it. It's going to take forever for that foaming to stop. When transmission fluid foams, it stays foamy for a long time. So you don't want any resistance on those wheels when you do the bleeding process. So side to side, as many times as it takes. And it should be all right. It sounds like it's doing what it needs to be doing. I can hear the air escaping out of it.
I also don't see any drips on the bottom either.
That's a good positive note. So as long as you keep hearing the wet noises in there, is a good indicator that you're still getting air in there. So just to keep the foaming down to a minimum, no resistance on those wheels. But the more I do this, it's getting harder to turn, which is a good thing. There we go. Purging out all of that air. This is a step that's often skipped when people change components, major components on power steering, is you're introducing a whole lot of air to the system, so you're going to get very choppy steering once it's all put back together. But I can feel it. It's got pressure in it now. It's not just a dead spin on it. It's not just, it's actually, you're having to put a little bit of force into turning this wheel now, instead of just spinning it like it was earlier. Remember, that was a lot of hose that got replaced and a new major component, which is that control valve. So all the chambers in that valve have to fill up, and such and such. It's getting quieter. There's going to be a whole lot of air in there when that hose blows. I think we're about safe to put it on the floor and try it out. There we go. We're good. I think that's as bled as it's going to be. And just get a little bit of drip control there. Really going out of my way to drip control with the amount of fluid that's going to be on the floor.
Well, I mean, you want to see the fresh spill, right?
That's right.
Even if it is a geyser.
It's a geyser. Now I got to find my keys to this. That's the other thing. Yeah. Impromptu airline fitting. Failed, like we thought. Wasn't a dramatic blowout, it just leaks past it. So I got to go out and buy a real hose barb to put in there with hose clamps, and that'll solve that issue. And then we can finally relish in the fact that the power steering once again works in here. Also, that Holly carb had to get evicted, and I took the Edelbrock out from the Oldsmobile over next door, and now it's running on the Edelbrock AVS2, which is not a bad running carb for the fact that it was sitting for a while in there and doing nothing because that car transmission was bad in it. All right, I topped it off with some Dexmerk, close that we could get the Type A transmission fluid, meant for these applications. So let me try. I don't want to splatter fluid all over the place. I can hear it making little gurgly noises in there, so you know what? I'm going to put the cap on the reservoir. All right, get. Come on. Ah, dadgummit. There you go. There you go. Atta pepper. All right. Go all the way to the passenger side. Not as much as before when the whole valve got changed, just the length of the hose that the fluid was void of, but I had to take it off at the valve body. So same rules apply. We don't want it to froth or foam. So as you see, the wheels are turning all the way around. Second time to the passenger side. And there we go. All the way here. Usually gurgles the most coming back towards this way. I don't know if that's just the pressurized side or how it does it, but how it goes. And I'm also going to note where that plastic wrap went so I can see if it's doing its job. It appears to be doing it. It is covering it up totally. Not stretching the hose either. So back over this way. Feel a little bit more pressure in that line. I just don't want air in a hydraulic system, as you guys all know. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. And there we go. Now that I got the reservoir cap back on there, I topped it off, did a couple more twists of the wheel. I'm going to bring this down the rest of the way. You know what? Maybe a couple more twists of the wheel. There we go. And a little good luck. Just a little for good luck. And I'm going to put those cardboards out of there and put a fresh one down and see if we get seepage. Bringing it down. There we go. Let's see what we have. Let's twist the key and see what happens. Since I changed over the fuel line and put a nice steel braided one, I might have to give it a couple little pumps. Ooh. Very graceful. Not skipping a beat. And that carburetor sat for a couple years as well. Now let's look underneath. That drop you saw come down, not worried about that. I overspilled a little bit when I was filling the reservoir, so that was coming off the frame rail. That I'm not too worried about. It's the hose that I was worried about, and that seems to be holding. So I am happy, happy, happy.
Motor runs damn nice with that job. Boy, is she responsive.
Little steam off the cold start. It's not really a cold evening, but that steam tends to go away after it warms up. Well, now that all is said and done, and all avenues leaked, I had I'm having a custom hose made for this, copying the original path of that hydraulic line with those, copying the original path of those hydraulic lines with a flare fitting. But in the meantime, I kind of want to get out in the car and drive around. So I have a 3/8 hydraulic hose that I made my own coupler. Who can identify the parts involved? Who can identify the parts involved? All right. 3/8 hydraulic line, hose clamp, of course, piece of EMT conduit connector with the screws in ground off so that they don't get hung up on things. All that is applying a tremendous amount of force to this brake hose, well, brake line, also 3/8. So I'm just going to shoot this one in the dark and see if it works. What can I lose? It's already blown up a few times. Might as well try something different. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, we're not insane here on the ranch. We're just eccentric. We're insane. Yeah, it's insanity. Totally insanity. Well, here we have it. Finally, a viable option. That creation of mine with the hydraulic hose attached to 3/8 brake line and run temporarily. This is temporarily. It has held for a couple of rides around town. Notice that crimp there? I really worked it with the cross peen hammer on the anvil to give it a strong crimp so that it would hold. I do notice that it might be weeping a little bit, but driving, it has held. As you can see right there, these hoses will have to be changed at some point. And every diagram I've seen on Corvette, full-size Chevy, yada, 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 it has shown these hoses crossed. It's not the case on this car. I tried it both ways. But there's the return hose. There's that hydro line. I didn't even put it through the hole. I just zip tied it out of the way for now. But it was a long, grueling process to get some kind of hose on there. But this one's $10.99. I'm having a custom line made for it as we speak, and when that comes in, I'm just going to throw it in there. But I'm considering this project $10.99 complete. There she is. Another job done on the Empty Skull Ranch, and I will see you guys next time. In the meantime, please like and subscribe. More content coming all the time, and I know I keep promising these revolver videos. They are on the way. All right, guys, see you next time.